So, to be honest, we're basically at that point where so many of these tactics are looking just like others we've looked at in the past. So, I'm just kind of at that point where I'm looking on Steam and Friends to see what kind of public tactics I can find. So, let's just start with today's tactic. In we go. Today's tactic is called New Hutchy Ball, and it is from, I'm assuming Hutchy being the person who created it, or at least posted online, called xHutchyBhoy. So we're going to take a look at that today with our three teams of Liverpool and Aston Villa in the Premier League and our championship side of Ipswich Town. I do like the 4-3-3 shape, so I definitely want to see how it works. It is positive, it's not attacking, fully at least. You do only have two attacking players up front, so it should be interesting with our teams. Let's just dive into the Premier League and start there. Well, unfortunately, in this test at least, it did not work well with our two Premier League teams. Liverpool with 67 points, 74 goals, but fifth place. They get Champions League next season, but Aston Villa in 15th with 38 points. That's a doozy. So Liverpool's domestic cup run. Carabao Cup third round, immediately you lose out to Brighton in penalties. You do get to the FA Cup quarterfinals, but lose out to Newcastle 1-3. And you're out against Lazio in the Europa League knockout round, 1-3 away from home, 1-2 at home. That kind of hurts. So yeah, overall, not a good season at all. The squad's still getting some green, which is interesting to see, but goals, 17 for Salah, 16 for Jota. Those are the tops. Assists, 10 for Robertson and Tsimikas apiece. And then average rating, Szoboszlai with a 7.33. Aston Villa, Carabao Cup fourth round, lose out 2-3 against Chelsea, and then FA Cup quarterfinals 0-3 against Bournemouth. They got to the Conference League quarterfinals, drawing at home, but losing to Fenerbahce away from home 1-4, and you're out there. So yeah, you got a couple quarters in there, but definitely not a good season. And I'm surprised they actually have two in the green. That's interesting, but 13 goals as the top for Diaby, 10 for Rogers and Luis apiece. Assist, you get 10 as top for McGinn, Luis with 9, and then average rating Douglas Luis with a 7.04, as does Morgan Rogers. So Data Hub, let's dive into the data with Liverpool first. Not attacking at all. I mean, at least not compared to what they usually see, which is basically goals per game, non-penalty expected goals per game, and shots per game through the roof. They've got the fouls per game or against per game, but yeah, not the greatest. Defensively, definitely worse than average, but not by a whole lot. About 1.95 goals per game is definitely lower. 1.21 conceded, 1.15 XG against is higher. And Aston Villa, yeah, definitely not doing as well as they usually do. Not even to the Premier League average on some of these numbers. Defensively, they're having some woes as well. 1.05 goals per game, a lot less than average of the Premier League. 1.66 conceded, 1.5 XG against is as well. So yeah, because of that, Premier League stats, we are starting here. Liverpool in 5th with 1.76 points per game. Aston Villa all the way down in 15th with a flat 1. Ouch. But on to the heart of the matter, and they're actually in here quite a bit, or at least Liverpool for the most part. 4th place in most goals with 74. Fewest shots against in 6th for Liverpool with 324. Most possession, both making the list with 63% all the way down to 60 for Aston Villa. Most dribbles made, Aston Villa making the list in 4th with 701. Fewest conceded in 6 for Liverpool, 46. Most shutouts in 6 for Liverpool as well with 13. Best pass completion, 90% apiece. Wow. That's very nice to see. Most shots for, though, Liverpool the only one in 6 with 467. That is insanely low. But how do you think our championship side of Ipswich Town is going to fare with this tactic? Sadly, not good at all. 64 points, 63 goals. They even have less goals than points, which is really rare. But 11th place is not great. Domestically, though, losing out to Everton 1-3 in the Carabao Cup 4th round, and in the FA Cup 5th round 1-5 to Chelsea. So yeah, not a good season. Domestically, they're fine, no questions, but that 11th place finish hurts. Squad-wise, they've got 3 in the green. I mean, that's more than I expected. 15 goals for Hurst, 8 for Jack Taylor and Caden Jackson apiece. Assists 11 for Leif Davis, 8 for Connor Chaplin, and that average rating, of course, 724 for Leif Davis. Championship stats, though, 11th place Ipswich with 1.39 points per game. They are definitely a lot lower than their usual. So with that said, the heart of the matter of the championship stats, fewest shots against in 7th with 422, most possession was 61%, most dribbles made in 7th with 739, and best pass completion with 90% just like the others. But let's dive into the tactic itself and get a little bit more in depth with it. We start out with a sweeper keeper in support, fullbacks on the left and the right in defend, ball playing defenders in defend, a halfback in defend, Mazzala in support next to an advanced playmaker in support, a deep lying forward in support, a deep lying forward on attack, and then an advanced forward in attack up front. Positive mentality, in possession, attacking with his fairly narrow approach plays pass into space, overlap on the left and the right, but focus play through the middle and play out of defense. Passing directness is shorter, tempo is higher, whipped crosses, work the ball in the box, run at defense, and be more expressive. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute quickly, distribute to the center backs, and take short kicks. And out of possession, a high press line of engagement, a standard defensive line, that's quite the midfield, trigger press much more often, and trap inside. But now overall, how did it do for our three teams? Unfortunately, it didn't do very well. I mean, this is a very heavily passing tactic. Our teams did a fantastic job at 90% each, all of them, but it was kind of everywhere else that was the problem. I mean, there's not a lot of shots going on target. They had some really record lows here, but defensively, it's fine. It seems it's just when you're not getting the ball forward enough, you're going to be getting it to the back. But it was definitely attacking side is kind of the problem area for this. So for Liverpool, at Aston Villa and in Ipswich Town, all are attacking teams in their respective leagues, or at least in FM24. They love attacking tactics, as I always say, and they just had problems here. Maybe with a Luton Town, you could do something a little bit better. Maybe here at Bristol City or Blackburn. But overall, it was kind of a tough season. Again, this is a holiday sim. If you took control and did your own match shouts, training transfers, things like that, you could probably do a little bit better here. I mean, 38 points is probably going to get you fired, but maybe you could bring it up a little into the 50s or thereabouts, maybe 40s at least. Now, again, I'm not trying these tactics to bash the tactics or to show you bad tactics or good tactics or things like that. I'm just showing you kind of how they work with these three teams and in these leagues. And they're public tactics, so I've got to try them out and see how they work here. Unfortunately, it didn't work as well as we'd hoped. But if you have suggestions for how this creator or how people using this tactic could kind of make it better, what teams to use with this, definitely leave them in the comments below. Please, please, please. Be very helpful. Don't be criticizing anything. Just be helpful and try and lift up the FM tactical community. And maybe we can all learn from this and see how we can all create better tactics that work for a lot of different teams. But that's it for me, 7FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.